Hey, this is Deepesh and welcome to the BPM Method training program, which is all around giving you stability, predictability, and profitability. Now in this module, I want to take you through what the BPM Method actually is. It's a short video to give you an insight into what I've created and why. So I'll be covering the definition of the BPM method, why the BPM method is relevant to you right now as an advertiser, and how it will continue to pay back for many, many years to come as well for you personally, and how it remains so perfectly in tune with Facebook ads. Despite all the changes I've seen over the last 5-6 years, it still works. And then I'll give you an insight into the core model that is the BPM method and what to expect as part of the training program as well. So the brand-driven performance marketing method is a mixture of brand marketing, performance marketing, and advertising. Now, what I want you to understand from this is when I talk about branding, I'm not talking about logos, colors, copy guidelines, and things like that, which many people confuse that, that's all branding is all about. But I've worked with many, many big players, big hitters from agency side, in-house over the last 15 and more years. And I really got a big appreciation as to what branding really is about. Now, I'll be honest, when I started off in marketing, I went straight into performance marketing. Now, the definition of a performance marketer is someone who is looking to put money in and get money out, essentially. But it's very much data driven. So the best performance marketers out there they're quite technical, they're data driven, results orientated. It's very much more left brain than brand marketing, which is very much more right brain. Now it's not quite the simple split between that, but I came into marketing as a performance marketer, so I was really driven by the numbers and everything made sense to me. I could have 100 people hit my site, maybe 5% converted, which means 5 people actually bought. And then I could look at all the metrics in between that. I could look at average order values, and I got really caught up into the world of performance marketing. And actually the first A/B test, split test that I ran really helped me to better understand brand marketing. Now, the story there was we had installed a new split test tool around 2006, 2007. And the recommendation from the expert I was working with, do a real simple test on a sign-up page, and we'll test your brand green button, branded green, versus a red, which is stark contrast. We ran the test for 2 weeks, and the numbers said that the red button performed, I think it was about 30% better in converting to brochure sign-ups than the green button. So my performance marketing head said, hey, this is awesome. We just literally, the first test we've launched, we got 30% more signups on the landing page than using the green button. So obviously, logically, you go back to the marketing director and say, run this test, it's amazing. I've got 30% increase in conversion. All we did was to change the button from green to red. And then the brand marketing manager said, that's never going to happen because it's not within our brand guidelines. And at the time, I was too inexperienced to understand, and because I was fairly junior, I kind of just went, well, but the numbers. And they said, yes, but it's not within our brand guidelines, so there's no chance of using a red button instead of green. And I was so deflated. I kind of walked away from that thinking, wow, did that really happen? But the numbers say this. And as I got deeper into the world of branding, I understood what branding actually meant. So if I was given full control over the website would probably not look as branded as it should have. So I would have gone with what worked with the numbers. I didn't really care about branding at the time. But there has to be a balance, because if you're creating something short-term and for profit, and you just want as much revenue, you don't really care about nurturing customers and building a business, you'll probably go down the route that I started to go down, which is trusting the numbers and just performing everything around the numbers. But branding is about building a long-term relationship with your customer. Now, the part of branding that I really took out into the BPM method was all about the consumer. Everything starts with the consumer. If you think about your product or service, there's either a need that they absolutely need this thing, or there's a desire that they want this thing. What I try and pull out into the BPM method is to communicate that in a way as an advertiser that just makes sense for your user to get them into your funnel, and then you can convert them. So that's what brand marketing and performance marketing are about when it comes to the BPM method. And then it all plows in to creating advertising campaigns that just absolutely work. And this is really what the BPM method is about, is constructing your avatar, understanding where your product fits, building copy and creatives around that, and delivering your advertising in a performance marketing way. So you're measuring how your campaigns are performing and analyzing and tweaking, etc. But you're doing it in a way that creates consistency and predictability. What I've done for this actual training program is to split out principles, strategies, and tactics. The principles I use in the BPM method are principles that have been around longer than I've been advertising on Facebook, longer than Facebook's been around, longer than the internet's been around. These are principles that go back hundreds of years. So a lot of the strategies I've learned are based on kind of the old world of marketing, but the principles remain true because despite technology changing and the world around us changing very fast, the principles of how you communicate to a human being remain fairly consistent. So the way that you build needs and desires, the way you write copy, the creatives, the images, the emotions that you create, us humans don't evolve as fast as technology. So the principles here, many of them have been around for hundreds of years, and I've just adapted them for the digital world that we're in. Then it comes into strategies, and those strategies are built around Facebook advertising in general, and many of these strategies have also, for me, been around for many, many years, and I've been applying them for 5 to 10, 15 years because the strategies just work. Then we come into tactics, and tactics change fairly frequently. For example, if I go back 3 to 4 years, the concept of campaign budget optimization didn't exist. We ran different types of budgets and ad management and things like that. Tools and widgets come and go. Facebook launched split testing. Facebook launched stories and different ways of optimizing and running your ads. They are all tactics. And so we cover off the tactics and we have to update them fairly frequently in the training program, but they are short-lived. But the strategies and principles that you will learn through this program will empower your business for many, many months and years to come, but for you personally will transform you as an advertiser, which is why this training program is built as an advertising training program for Facebook ads and not the other way around, because it's so powerful once you start to see how this works and you start to apply this into other advertising channels as well. So wherever you are right now with your Facebook ad campaign, I guarantee one of these bullet points here will resonate with you 100%. Either you're suffering from higher costs with Facebook, maybe there's more competition and you're struggling to get performance. Maybe you're worried about Facebook dying on you and it's no longer viable for your business. You're worried about the algorithm and all the changes that Facebook make. Maybe there's new products that continuously come out and you just don't know what to spend time on and what to ignore. Maybe you're in Facebook groups and you see all the hacks and short-term things and you want to try them, and some of them work, some of them don't, but it's causing instability. And then obviously the biggest one is policy issue, which over the years has got worse and worse. These are challenges that many people like you face, so you're not alone. A lot of this comes down to what advertisers want to see of their customer and what the reality is. So this is one of my favorite graphics because it kind of sums up where Facebook was in 2014, 2015, where you could advertise and to an extent almost sell anything without trying too hard. And there's a reason for that. Number one, because Facebook was a fairly new platform for commerce. So there weren't as many advertisers. It was still a novel thing to see a product in your newsfeed, click it and buy a product or service from there. So a lot of people were willing to spend money. And also people were introducing new services that you couldn't necessarily buy online previously as well. So if you think about 2014 and print on demand, t-shirt sellers, they were making tons and tons of dollars off the platform because print on demand and buying online, it was still a novelty. And I still kick myself that I didn't jump on that train sooner because that was a time to really get in and really scale up, because your advertisers your customers were exactly like this. They were literally throwing money at you. Where we are right now is the problem, because now on Facebook there are too many ads in your newsfeed, too many competitors in your niche, and it's getting harder and harder to cut through. So what ends up happening is your consumers are actually not so sure whether they want to transact with you, whether to sign up for your service or buy your product. And that's what we're trying to break out of with the BPM method, to take consumers that are doubtful or concerned or not convinced and turn them into customers that are ready to pay and buy your product or service. Once you've been through the BPM method, my absolute goal is that you can look at this and turn around what are your concerns into benefits. So forget about higher costs. It's about how affordable Facebook ads is for you right now. Don't worry about competition. Focus on stability and how well it's performing for you day in, day out. Forget Facebook potentially dying. Create profitable ad campaigns that work for you consistently right now. Don't worry about the algorithm changes. We will create something that's scalable by following these systems and methodologies. Don't worry about all the different ad products. Focus on which ones are going to make a difference to you. Don't spend too much time worrying about hacks and new ways of kind of all these new tactics that come out. Focus on structured growth. I've spoken to past students who, within the kind of first 3 to 4 months, they're following the BPM method. They see great results. A few months later, they're caught up in Facebook groups and working on hacks and short-term things that, you see so many people throwing things into these groups. They try them out, it doesn't work, their performance is all over the place, you get instability because people are doing fast scaling and manual bidding and things like that. And they come back to the BPM method, calm down a bit, take a deep breath, and start going through the program again, because when you follow the systemized process, it just works. And the whole thing becomes a lot more predictable, because one of the core things about this is there are 3 players when it comes to advertising. There's you as an advertiser with your goals, there's the user that you're targeting with their own goals, and then there's the advertising platform, i.e. in this case Facebook. Now, going deeper into the world of Facebook, this may or may not be a graphic that you've seen before. This graphic is how the Facebook algorithm works, and we'll cover that off later in the program. But the key thing I want you to understand about this is this algorithm hasn't changed much over the years, but the BPM method still continues to work. And this quote that Facebook shared about 3-4 years ago in one of their presentations really encompasses why the BPM method is so powerful. So if I read this quote to you, our goal, and this is Facebook, our goal is to match the right ad to the right person at the right time. So just think about that. If you're reading that and you're thinking, yeah, absolutely, me as an advertiser, that's exactly what I want, then great, you're ahead of 80% of advertisers out there. But if you're looking at that and thinking, yeah, I'm not too sure, if your goal is not to match the right ad with the right person at the right time, you're doing something wrong. That's a big part of how we build funnels and creatives and targeting in the BPM method that you're going to see. And we try and build aligned to what Facebook want. Then the second part of this, which is really quite interesting, is Facebook say this is different than a traditional auction because the winner isn't the ad with the highest monetary bid, i.e. eBay, but the ad that creates the most total value. That's a big reason why the BPM method allows me to run my ads with consistency, with predictability, but also allows me to not worry about things like manual bidding. Manual bidding is something we'll cover off later in the program, but essentially manual bidding allows you to override the auction. So if your ad gets presented to a user, what manual bid does is says, if my total value isn't good enough to win this particular auction, artificially bid it up. So you end up paying more. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But why do you need to do that? It's because something in the Facebook algorithm has given you a lower score. So looking at this, you've got advertiser bid on the left, you've got estimated action rate in the middle, and then user value. The BPM method is all about maximizing all of those. And when you go through the program and you really get your ads honed in and your targeting and your funnels and load time and everything else around that, then your campaigns are far more effective. So just to close out the introduction to the BPM method, this is now the core model within the BPM method engine, and the split between brand marketing mastery and performance marketing mastery. There are these kind of small steps, but they are a huge part of how to actually make your ad campaigns work. And this is everything that's broken out into the training program. So looking at brand marketing mastery, we'll go through the core 4, which is the success path for ads domination. We'll go through 5W avatar. My ad campaigns do not start without a 5W avatar. This is one of the things that I've been working on for many, many years, that without really having my 5W avatar, I don't really know how to communicate to customers what their desires are, what our opportunities and advantages are, what their barriers are, and how to actually formulate copy and targeting. Everything falls out the back of that. The 3N ads formula, which is how to create cut-through ads so that you're targeting people that are going to click into your site, but you don't want to also target people that are not going to convert. So for example, a good ad for me is not one that creates maximum click-through rate, but it creates the right click-through rate, bringing the right people into my funnel. And then into the 4-funnel profit system, which goes back to what Facebook want, is being able to serve the right ad to the right person at the right time. So there's the kind of key elements of the brand part of brand performance marketing. Then we go into performance marketing, and this is when we get into building the kind of foundations to create high predictability and reduce anxiety through the predictability path. So it's about how we structure our campaigns, how we do our monitoring and our insights, and keep control of our ad accounts without our ad accounts controlling us. That's a big part of the BPM method, because I want you at the end of this program to feel less anxiety and be in control of your results. And then the graduation framework, where we go through fast testing, iterative testing to maximize your outcomes for the minimal amount of spend and time. And then the profitability optimization, which is all about balancing your ad costs with conversion rate and revenue per user. They're 3 big parts of profitability with Facebook ads, which is you want to pay less, you want to convert more, and generate higher revenue per user. And there are techniques that I'll take you through to enable that. And then the final part is scale up. Now, if I survey anyone on kind of what their biggest problem is with Facebook, whether you're spending $100 a day, $50,000 a day, generally most people are talking about scaling up. They want to scale. That's their biggest problem. But for me, that's right at the tip of the pyramid and right at the bottom of this process, which is once you get your foundations in place, then you're able to scale up and do so more consistently. What I really want you to take away from this module is what goes into the BPM method and what you will be looking to apply. And I know some of you will come at this at different levels, but I really encourage you to go through this. Even if you think you know about avatars and how to build funnels in your ad accounts and your sales funnels, go through the program systematically and apply it. Unlike other training programs, we haven't locked everything in week by week. We've opened everything up. But I do encourage you to go through this step by step, because in the agency, this is exactly what we do. This is a step-by-step process, and that's how we get amazing results. And I guarantee if you can follow this process, learn, apply, and learn, apply, keep on going through the process, you'll become better and better, and it'll just become part of your everyday work. So the training program has been split into step-by-step processes of what we go through. Go through them, but apply them and see the outcomes and learn from it as well. This is not a course like a book where we can just read it over, read it over a few days and you're going to be a master of advertising. This is designed to be consumed over a period of weeks. I would say on average about 4 to 6 weeks to properly go through, apply, run the ads, set up your avatars, do your creative work, and then to see the results, and then you learn from that. You look at the data and you adapt, and then you try something else and you learn. Also, as part of this, the more momentum you can build up in your wins, the better. So you may have seen that some people share the results in the groups, and it's really exciting to do so. I would encourage you to do so. It inspires others, and I'd love to see it anyway. But for you, it helps you to build your confidence in what you're doing. And the more you share, the more other people will share, and they'll also contribute back to your own learnings and understandings. So I do encourage you to share as you develop your learnings with other students as well, which will help you massively going forward. So wish you the best experience through this, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your results as we step through this whole program.